All right, board fam, Eric here, and in today's video, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I decided I wanted to go to the least woke AI there is on the internet, and I think that would be Grok/Grok over at Twitter/X's AI. Nobody calls it X. It's just Twitter. It's an awful website. I do not recommend. But yeah, they have the least woke AI according to Elon Musk. I thought, what if I go over and I ask the least woke AI a very woke question? What kind of answers would it give me? And I had no idea because I don't really use it. So not too familiar with it. But I thought I'm going to ask a question that doesn't name any channels, that doesn't point it in any specific direction. It's just a question about the general discourse on the internet and what they find on Twitter versus like what we know, the kind of content that we make, to see if it lines up. Because this is a non-woke AI, right? So a woke question shouldn't trip it up. Now, a couple disclaimers before we get into this. I am not a huge fan of AI. I think AI in general is more negative than positive. There's not a lot of regulations. It's bad for the environment. We need a lot more work done in the AI department to make it more ethical and more environmentally friendly. That's the first disclaimer. Second disclaimer is, if you go on to enjoy this channel, it's not really a disclaimer, make sure you subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment down below. Now, here is the question I ask. Give me the top 10 worst culture war channels on YouTube that push propaganda. That's a really important portion of that statement. That push propaganda about Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney. Now, it's 10 of them here. Let's read through and see what it has to say about them. Top 10 worst culture war YouTube channels pushing propaganda about Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney. Based on widespread discussions across online communities, media analysis, and critique, these channels are frequently called out for engaging in culture war rhetoric, often framed as anti-woke commentary that critics argue spreads misinformation, amplifies reactionary views, and monetizes outrage around franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney. They are accused of cherry-picking details to push narratives about forced diversity, SJW agendas, or corporate propaganda while ignoring storytelling merits or broader context. The list draws from sources labeling them as grifters or gateways to far-right ideologies, with rankings based on subscriber counts, visibility, and backlash cycles. Examples given around the acolyte, the Marvels, or medias and critique. And there's always these links here. I'm not going to click on this, but if you're going to use AI, again, I'm not advocating for it. These links will give you additional context, and you can always double check to make sure it's giving you the right information. All right, let's look at our first one. The first one is Nerdrotic. 1 million plus subscribers. And this is what it says about Nerdrotic. Often tops list of anti-woke grifters for videos railing against Disney's woke agenda in Star Wars and Marvel, accused of bad faith critiques that fuel harassment while monetizing fan divisions. He's at the top of their list here. Number one. Number two is The Critical Drinker. 2 million plus. Prominent for Why Modern Movies Suck series targeting Marvel, Disney, Star Wars as woke propaganda. Critics say it's reactionary dog whistling disguised as film analysis, influencing broader anti-diversity backlash. Now, what's funny about these two being at the top is if you've ever watched my content, you know that these are the two that I say are the big dogs. These are the biggest ones. And so it's kind of interesting to see that even this anti-woke or non-woke AI knows to put them at the top two without me even mentioning who they are. If you looked at my prompt, I didn't say anything about which channels I was talking about. I simply asked them. And you can see the sources here are different sources. So it's not all pulling from one list, which I think is also really interesting. Let's see what number 3 is. Number 3 is Geeks and Gamers with 400K plus subscribers. Part of the Fandom Menace Network. Videos attack Disney for ruining Star Wars, Marvel with forced diversity, labeling a hub for right-wing trolls profiting off outrage with ties to harassment campaigns. That's crazy. So far on this list, no lies detected. This is AI being ethical. I don't know. Number 4 is The Quartering with 1.5 million plus subscribers. I mean, so far the list is accurate. Focuses on SJW fails in Disney properties, accused of being a far-right gateway. I would say it's more than an accusation, but I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. Blending pop culture rants with political propaganda, high output of inflammatory content on Marvel/Star Wars wokeness. All right, there's 4. We still got 6 to go. Who's next on the list? Heel versus Babyface, 300K plus subscribers. Known for anti-woke tirades on Star Wars and Marvel, critics call it grifting off of fan anger with exaggerated claims of cultural Marxism, and Disney often collaborates with similar channels. So we're 5 deep into these 10 options that we have. And so far, my no lies detected meter is totally in alignment with this list. Keep in mind, remember my prompt, I didn't name any of these guys. So I'm just saying, all right. Next one is RK Outpost, Ryan Kennel, 200K plus subscribers. Pushes woke Disney narratives attacking Star Wars Marvel for pandering, seen as part of the grifter ecosystem. Holy shit. The grifter ecosystem, fam. That's good. With videos celebrating failures like the Marvels as wins against SJWs. So we're 6 out of 10. So far, I recognize all the names on this list, and I've talked about all of these people before. So something's telling me that this non-woke AI is onto something. Number 7 is Clownfish TV with 300K views. Shifted from neutral Disney talk to alt-right culture war content, accused of spreading propaganda about woke Star Wars/Marvel, alienating original fans with reactionary takes. Wow, 7 out of 10 so far. Let me know in the comments. How are you feeling about this? Next up is Doomcock, Overlord DVD. Now, to be fair, I've never made a video about Doomcock, but I've talked about him on many live streams, and I'm very familiar with Doomcock. Conspiracy-heavy channel claiming Disney injects hidden agendas into Star Wars/Marvel, labeled QAnon for nerds. Oh my God. I've never heard that one. Fam, we're QAnon for nerds is what Doomcock is labeled. For radicalizing fans with baseless scoops and far-right framing. And getting caught for it. So we're 8 out of 10. Only one of the channels so far I haven't officially covered, which is Doomcock. But I've talked about him. So I've talked about all of these channels at one time or another. Number 9 is Jesterbell with 50K plus subscribers. Jesterbell is in the top 10. She'd probably be really happy about that. Shout out to Jesterbell. You would probably love that you're on this list. I'm just saying, you're the company that you're keeping here. Says here, anti-woke rants on Disney's feminist propaganda in Star Wars/Marvel. Critics highlight bad faith videos that misrepresent projects to stoke culture wars, often debunked for misinformation. Now, I might click these links to see where they come from at the end. I'm curious. I feel like Jesterbell is I've kind of pioneered the Jesterbell stuff. I don't know if they're citing me as a source, but we'll see. And we got number 10, which is someone that I've never covered. I have talked about, never covered him, but an absolute shit channel. Mike Zero, 200K plus subscribers. Now, Mike Zero doesn't really collab. I don't think I've ever seen him collab with anybody. Maybe he has. I don't think he does. I think he's totally comfortable just making fake content and getting the ad revenue from it. Pumps out fake leaks and drama about woke reshoots of Star Wars/Marvel. Accused of fabricating stories to exploit fan. Not accused. He's literally made shit up before. With poorly edited, high-volume propaganda for clicks. Absolutely true. And they cite Neb's good takes, so that's pretty funny. These channels thrive on YouTube's algorithm, which boosts controversial content, but they face backlash for contributing toxic fandom dynamics, including review bombing and harassment. Not all criticism of Disney is invalid. Issues like creative fatigue exist, but these are singled out for prioritizing propaganda over substantive analysis. For balance, some sources defend channels like Star Wars Theory as more lore-focused, though it's though it's sometimes lumped in with Grifters. Star Wars Theory was one of the, I think the AI was trying to figure out if it wanted to put Star Wars Theory in here. But that's our top 10 list. I do want to click on sources for Jesterbell, only because I'm wondering if it's me. I don't know if it's me or not. That would be a fun way to wrap up this video, to click on that and see if it's me. So let's see, fam. No, it's not me, but it is Otterly Noah. Shout out to Otterly Noah for this one. I see you, Otterly Noah. I will say there's been some controversy around Noah recently with plagiarism stuff. So there's that. But seems like Noah is trying to turn the ship around on his channel. So good luck to him on that. Anyway, I am a little sad that I wasn't the source for the Jesterbell ranking. But life goes on. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just wanted to have a little fun today and wanted to use AI for good in a world that's very dark. But I will say, having Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker at 1 and 2, it feels correct. This feels correct to me. So shout out to the non-woke AI for actually giving a somewhat unbiased response to a woke-ass question. Anyway, thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.